Hi everybody, this is Dan over at 2257Snap, and this video is going to go into the details of how we go ahead and create content records and upload content into the 2257Snap system, and that includes uploading the model releases as well. So real important part of the record keeping process, because all the record, in order for a record to be complete, it needs to not only include the text-based data, but it also has to include the original content, and uploading it through our system makes sure that everything is linked and cross-linked, and all of that stuff is done, so every record is unique and can be searched, and all the proper information can be found. There are three things, though, that you need to have in place before we really get started. And at this point, you need to, number one, have all the model names and model records created that are in your system. And you can look at the prior videos on how to do that. The second thing that you'll need to have is you'll need to have the model releases scanned and ready to go. They can be saved as either a JPEG file or a multi-paged PDF file. And lastly, you'll need to have the content available on your computer to upload when you're ready. So if all of those things are in place, let's go ahead and begin the process. I'll just go ahead and log into my account. And you can see here that we've already got some performers that we have input into the system. And if you have not watched the previous videos in the series, I encourage you to stop this video right now and go back and watch it, because otherwise a lot of what I'm doing here probably won't make sense. I've put these videos together in a logical order so that you can learn step by step how to best use the application. So if you haven't watched it, anything else, go back and watch it now. Otherwise, we'll carry on. So to create a content record, we'll go down here and click the Create Content Record button. And this opens up the first dialog. First question asks us multiple scenes, yes or no. And this kind of has to do more if you are uploading a piece of content like a DVD, which is a compilation of maybe many different video scenes that are shot over many different days with different performers, and you'll need to create separate records for each one of those. But for the most part, most people are just letting this default to no, because the content title that they are creating is just a single video shoot or a photography shoot that occurred at one particular time, and then they create a record, a unique record for that. The primary producer will be the primary producer. It may be you, or if you have purchased content from somebody else, it will be their name. But we'll choose Random Productions. We'll choose the content type of video for this one, and we'll create a title. My video shoot number 1. And your titles can be anything you want that makes sense to you. But you might, best practice might be to make each one unique. So if you're using a serial number or something like that, that's fine. But if you just name it My Video Shoot over and over again, the system will be fine with that, but it'll be kind of hard for you to look up information and just make things confusing. So next thing is production date. Very, very important. We have to have the production date in there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose March 2nd of 11. And we can also put some notations in here. And it can be whatever. You don't have to have notations, but some people find it useful to jot down certain things that they find important. So at this point, we'll click the Create This Content Title button, and we get confirmation that that's done. And then we can see now we are working with the content title called My Video Shoot Number 1 by Random Productions. It was shot on March 2nd, 2011. Now, really important, down below here we have 3 buttons numbered 1, 2, and 3, and they are laid out in the order that you need to input your records. I've done it this way to help make the system relatively foolproof. And so if you follow the order of these buttons and input the information in the order it asks, all the information for this record will be properly linked and cross-linked and connected, and it should go pretty easy. So I highly recommend you have all your information ready to go before you input a content title, and refrain from hitting the home key until you have moved through all three of these buttons. Okay, so first thing is we're going to define the models, and so if we click on that, we get a list of all of the performers that we have in our database. And so we are going to basically tell the system what performers were in my video shoot number 1. So let's say Jane Doe was. So all we have to do is click and drag Jane from the left side to the right side, and she drops right in. And then maybe Larry was in this one, so we'll click and drag Larry and release, and Larry goes in. If you made a mistake, you can just click and drag the other direction, and that's fine, but Larry will be in there. And if you have a very, very long list of people in your database, you can filter it out by using the filter field here, and you can type a capital or a capital letter to get everyone that whose last name begins with a T or whatever letter, or you can type a partial and get the same thing. It's really handy if you have hundreds and hundreds of people in the system. So at this point, Jane Doe and Larry are in this video. And so we're going to go ahead and click the Save Models to Title button, and that locks their names in. And we get a green check mark after number 1. Number 2 is now highlighted to upload their model releases. So we'll click that, and we see both of their names in the list here. Now at this point, you can upload a PDF file, which is it can be a multi-page file of the release, or if you just scanned it in, you can upload a JPEG scan, but the system does not take multiple pages of JPEGs. If you have only JPEGs, the only pertinent page that you really need is the page that it has the date of production and the actor or actress's signature. That's typically the last page that I've seen in most 2257 contracts. So you'll want to make sure you only upload that page. A lot of the other page information that has to do with compensation and so forth is not relevant. It's really the page that has to do with the date of production and the model signature. But PDF works fine too. So in order to assign the proper release for each one of these performers, we will click on a name, and when we do, we will go down here to Select Model Release. And when we do that, we'll get a dialog box that will open up on both Mac and PC, and you can then choose the document. So in this case for Jane Doe, I'm going to choose a JPEG that I have ready, test release, and I'll open that. And then I'll need to click the Upload Release button to actually submit it into the system. So when I do that, it'll upload. I'll get a preview of what the document looks like. And notice that their name will fall off the list now because they have a release assigned to them. So now we need to do Larry. So we'll click on Larry, and we'll go back to Select Model Release, and we'll open the dialog, and this time we'll upload a PDF that I have, and then we will upload that release. Now with a PDF file, we don't get a preview, but we do get this little image that says PDF files do not have a preview image, and if you see that, that basically tells you that the image is, or that the file is uploaded fine. Larry's name drops off. There are no more models that we need to assign releases for this particular title, and so we're done with that.